Recently, while I was going through my life, someone asked me a question. Although, at that point of time, I answered them with whatever popped up of my head. I'm still thinking about the same question. Although I don't have a solid answer, I've mixed up a few point of views for us to investigate. Before we start, let me take you through my flow of answering questions. It's so beautiful outside, I thought I would open a small window for you. Okay, whenever someone asks me a question, my ears receive the information and from there they pack it up and send it through nerves to my spinal cord. After it reaches my spinal cord, the message is again sent to my brain. Now my brain has different parts. As soon as they receive the message, each of them take it upon themselves and start processing the data. And then some of the units are fast, some are slow, based upon their capability and their understanding. And then I start receiving responses. Like, if you can visualize it, they are like an assembly line where there are different machines, each one has different capability. Now that you have visualized the assembly line, just like I said, when immediately someone asks a question, I give them a response. But over time, as I keep going on with my life, the answers to that question from various parts of my brain start popping up. This is why I pause when someone asks me a question. Mostly when someone asks me something, I keep staring at something because I don't know immediately what I must respond. Because there are two, three thoughts and I'm trying to figure out which one is the best response. Now, coming to the question. The question which made me think was, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Now let's take a look at all the thoughts I received. I mean, all the answers I received at various points of time. First comes the pre vomit thoughts. Mostly, these thoughts haven't reached my brain. They're directly coming from spinal cord. This is my evolutionary response to such questions. Usually they pop out within 1 second, mostly by 0.5 seconds, like that. Honestly, questions like these are difficult. They are thought provoking and they don't easily leave your brain. So, my initial response is I never want to answer these questions. But as soon as I hear it, something happens in your brain. So, it starts thinking anyway. So, you have to give a socially acceptable response, which I have delivered in my next POV. Next comes the 1 second response. This response usually comes from brain. This response usually leans towards social acceptability. Like, this is what I want the other person to think about me. So, my response to that question was, I told him that I don't want to think about the next 5 years. What I want to do now is focus on my present and keep giving my best. Next, we'll look at those 20-minute thoughts. These thoughts usually pop up after some time. Like, after he asked me the question, I started my life usually. And after about half an hour, slowly these thoughts start popping up in my head. These go like, okay, the question he actually asked was, where do I see myself after 5 years? So I was like, okay, suppose after 5 years I may be doing the same work, and in office hours I see myself working in office, and after office I'll be going home, so I'll be at home. I should see myself at home. Okay, there might be another angle to it. Let's attach a bit of context. So if you ask me where I am where I see myself after 5 years, I would say, what if I end up looking up for a job at my hometown? Then I'd be at my home, playing with my parents, eating homemade food. Mm, Even then, I would be enjoying my life. But this doesn't satisfy why he asked the question. What does he need in his question? Oh. Then we move on to the 2 hour thoughts. These things usually pop up after 2 hours. They usually take up a lot of processing power in my brain. So they come up slowly. These usually go like, will I be alive after 5 years? Will Earth be the same after 5 years? There is a high chance that both of us will be alive. Although we might have different shapes and different capabilities. But I think both of us will be alive. There's a high chance to that. So, assuming both of us are alive, I may be on Earth, but there is also a chance that Blue Origin and SpaceX, these things may succeed. So there is a little bit of chance that I may end up being on Mars. Just a little bit of chance, but it's also a possibility. But I don't think the person who asked the question would really be interested if I'm here on Earth or Mars. Then, later that day, while I was sleeping and I was dreaming about all the different things, these thoughts popped out. I think these are the last processed thoughts. Maybe they are a bit of mix of different units, but these are the final thoughts I had that night. They are a bit difficult to read, so I'll look inside and tell you. That night in my dream, after 5 years, you see, this is what actually I'm visualizing in my dream. So you should also switch on your visualization button. Okay, after 5 years, I will be transcending into my soul, dig deeper into myself, and reach a perfect state of self actualization, where questions like these doesn't matter. How is it?